Hi guys, I am gone again today. I'm sick with pneumonia. So I want to pick up where we left off the other day. I went in and I took a look at some of your guys' answers on your Casey Anthony um, trial research. Some of you did a really good job with being really specific in the evidence. Some of you just put down the word yes in evidence. So I don't quite understand. I wanted you to be specific with that. So if you um, if you need to go back and kind of change some answers, I'm going to be doing some massive grading tomorrow. So you might take a look at that. So today, you're going to still open up this PowerPoint that I gave you. I'll put it as your assignment today again. But remember, reviewing over the other day, talking about the Sixth Amendment, right? And how you have a right to a fair trial. And I hope you found it kind of interesting about the Casey Anthony trial because of how the evidence that they used and the experts that they used. Did it really help her or not? Or it really helped her a lot. So today, what you're going to do um, is you're gonna be researching. You're going to be looking at these two court cases. The first court case is Fry versus the United States, and that particular case is a very interesting case. It happened back in 1923, and this case was the first case that somebody tried to use. Somebody tried to use a lie detector test for evidence in the trial, and they said that they overruled the actual evidence, and um, they said that it couldn't be used, and the guy he got he was guilty of the crime. So you might go in and watch a little video about the Fry versus United States. Find out as much information as you can about this particular case because it did change forensics cases changed the field of forensics when it's used in a court of law. And the latest one is the Dalbert versus the Merrill Dow Pharmaceuticals, and that's a very interesting court case too, where it kind of worked its way up the chain. It started out in lower courts, but it worked its way all the way up to the Supreme Court. And they're talking about expert experts, and are actually there's two brothers, I believe, or two two kids that actually ended up getting having birth defects from a drug that was made by this pharmaceutical company. And so they were taking this pharmaceutical company to trial and blaming them for their birth defects. So what was changed? So you need to find out a little bit about that too. And there's some good videos out there on that. The substitute's going to hand you this before you start your research, and over here, she's going to hand you this worksheet. So over here, what you could type or what you can write in here is you'll write in each of the court cases. So here it's a Venn diagram. So you should know how to do a Venn diagram. But you're gonna go in, and on this side, you're gonna talk about maybe the Fry versus the United States over here on this side. And then this court case is going to be the Dalbert versus the pharmaceutical company. And you're going to write down all the differences out here in the outside of the circle. But what are some of the similarities between the 2 cases, court cases? When you're done with that worksheet, you wanna go down and you want to, kinda read this next slide, and it'll give you a better idea of, in the example at the Casey Anthony trial, this expert witness was allowed to testify as to his thoughts on the decomposition in the trunk of the car. Did you believe that he should have been allowed to testify as an expert witness? Okay. Due to these cases right here, he was allowed to do that. You can click on this video clip, and when you do, it's going to be a video clip from Casey Anthony's and that expert talking about the car. And then the next one is like, of course, they called in the hair expert. And did you believe that they should have called in that expert witness? And did it help the trial with that evidence and how that expert talked about um, hair? So you can watch that video clip on that hair expert. So for you guys to have an understanding of how the court proceedings go about, once the suspect is arrested, there's a time where they're in an arraignment process where they're kind of they're getting all the lawyers and everybody all together. Then after that, there's a discovery process where the lawyers are trying to figure out more about the case and gathering things and gathering evidence. And at that time, the lawyers can go and they can plea a deal. And if it's offered and accepted, then the suspect may get convicted from just that plea deal and sentence. So you can kind of see how that just goes bam right down. But if it goes on from the discovery stage, there'll be a preliminary hearing where they'll go into a courtroom and then in front of a judge, and the judge will either rule that there's not enough evidence, and then he'll say, well, the suspect can be released. There's not enough evidence to even have a trial. There's enough evidence, then they'll hold a trial, and they'll get a jury. They'll go through jury process and finding 12 jurors for the trial. Then, as the jury listens to the trial, they'll deliberate and come up with a decision. If they can't find, definite, then the defendant can be acquitted and they're released. Or if they find them guilty, then they're convicted. And of course, from the conviction stage right there, then they'll have a sentencing date, and then they'll be sentenced to whatever, put in jail or put in prison. Um, so once they're convicted, too, um, they can go through an appeals process where they can like appeal their whole trial too. So this is kind of a breakdown of how when someone's arrested and how it goes through the whole process. And when our district attorneys come in, hopefully you can have some questions and ask them, is the Fry case ever can it be used in Kansas or the Dalbert case? Can we use expert witnesses in the state of Kansas? Some states have laws on that. So um, this should give you some ideas on some good questions that you could ask the lawyers. After you're finished with this, then you're going to be given a worksheet where you're going to have to cut out little triangles, and you're going to have to fit the triangles correctly uh, to match the wherever it may be. So the substitute will kind of explain to you on that one. You're going to need some tape, scissors, possibly glue, and you can do this with a partner. So you have plenty to do. And when you're all done with this worksheet and you're done with the other worksheet, hand it in, please. And then make sure to go back through your work and see if you have everything complete so I can grade it. I hope to see you possibly at the end of the week. Um, so be good for the substitute. Get your name written down for something good, please. And have a good day.